Madigan. Senator Lyons.
Mr Acting Deputy President. And it was really interesting to listen to Senator Smith today talk about corruption, but he didn't mention his friend, Mr Damien Mantak from the Liberal Party, pleading guilty to massive amounts of stealing. Let's not forget that. Let's just look at what the Labor Party's done. Our policy states that we want to regulate political donations. Our policy states that we want to reduce the cap on donations disclosure law. When last in government, we put up electoral reform that included looking at political donations. And what happened? The coalition, the Liberal National Party, along with some of the crossbench senators, knocked that on the head. So don't come to us talking about corruption and political donations. But let's have a look at where we're up to with this little grubby deal of yours, and let's look at what the Greens have traded away. And recent history demonstrates when it comes to deal-making and economic credentials, the Green Party has well and truly got its L-plates on. They dipped their toes in the murky water in a grubby deal with the government to disenfranchise around 330,000 parched pensions. The Greens changed the asset test for these pensioners, cutting their household budgets, meaning they have less to live on. On the last day of sitting in last year, in 2015, another dirty deal done cheap with the government on company tax. Despite their rhetoric of being tough on tax, the Greens deal failed to gain any tangible transparency. It increases the threshold for companies, allowing them to continue to trade behind closed doors and avoiding paying their fair share of tax. Now, the explanation from their leader was interesting. He said it was the best deal they could do at the time. The government was desperate to get that bill through, but the Greens failed to take advantage of that and settled for an inadequate deal. I'd like to hear from the Greens about just when they think the Australian Parliament might have a better chance of getting a fair and transparent deal, the deal, in fact, that Labor wanted to hold out for. Surely that time is when the government is desperate to get a bill through. Quite frankly, I think a 2-year-old having a tantrum would do better than the Greens when they negotiate. And now this latest dirty deal enables the government to pull the DD trigger and wipe out the crossbench. This deal will actually disadvantage millions of Australians who choose to vote for independents and small parties. There is nothing honourable in this bill, which has been incorrectly titled Electoral Reform. There is only one change in this bill, and that is to gerrymander Senate voting. And once again, the Greens party has shown itself to be either inept negotiators or so drunk on power that they missed the obvious real opportunity for a real electoral reform in the same name bill. And today they have the gall to front the Senate with their matter of public importance. And guess what? It's about electoral reform. Suddenly, after the Greens had done their dirty deal with the government to wipe out crossbench senators, they come into this very place with an urgency motion calling for immediate action on political donations. I don't know how they can lie straight in bed at night. Perhaps not all of the Greens were in on the dirty deal with the government, but however they played it with the government, they should have included this alleged urgent action on political donation reform in their dirty deal in supporting a motion to wipe out the crossbench. This stunt today by the Green Party, trying to salvage some political capital after they sold their souls to the devil on a bill which locks out any other minority than their own view, will be seen by the Australian public for what it is. It's a grab for power. It's a dirty deal done with the government, who are clearly frustrated with the crossbench and Labor. Much harder to get rid of us, easy to get rid of the crossbench in a dirty deal with the Greens, who can't even negotiate to put political donations into the package they did with a government desperate to do a deal. Once again, they fail, they get a little way along, and then they just cave in. Well done to the government. They won't love you in the morning. They don't even love you now. You've been hoodwinked. Once again, on major reform, you simply caved in. You've sold your soul to the devil, and Australians will see straight through it.